You see that guy? That's me. In June of 2022, I finally graduated from the University of Washington, Seattle with a double major in both informatics and communications. At first glance, I'm just another Asian American that graduated from UW Seattle. But as it is with every individual story, there's always more than meets the eye. To fully understand, we must go back to the beginning. So in 2017, in what seems like a lifetime ago, I graduated from high school. I remember all of the emotions that I felt. True joy, an overwhelming amount of excitement. But ultimately, I felt free. And like all was right with the world. I was traveling across all of Washington State with my best friends. It was filled with a lot of camping, exploration, but most importantly, I was spending time with truly phenomenal people. I felt connected with people, with nature, and in the world in a way that I can't fully describe through words. Alright, hey guys, so today's the day. I'm going to college. I brought all of this energy straight into 2017 during my freshman year. This was a year that I honestly just had the most fun. I met so many incredible people through just living at the dorms, walking through the campus, and seeing familiar faces, but also just meeting new people all across campus and through my classes.
Be homeless. Surprise!
Over now, big friendly over.
Gonna play.
I was somewhat focusing on what I wanted to do with my career, but genuinely I was just going through the motion of things. At the time, I was actually an undeclared major at UW. That meant that I had to take a lot of prerequisite classes before actually applying to my major. So this is actually UW's way of weeding people out of the majors that they might actually want to be a part of. I didn't fully understand what this actually meant until a few years later, but more on that in a bit. During the summer in 2018, I actually took a couple of summer courses. I just got my first ever apartment and it was hella nice, like ridiculously nice. It was great. I traveled here and there, I was visiting some friends and family in LA, but I was also just playing around the city of Seattle and just having a good time. All in all though, if I had to sum up freshman year in one word, it would simply be excitement. Pure, unadulterated excitement. So many fun and just wholesome memories that I know I will cherish forever. Now onto the rest of 2018, my sophomore year. I came in with the expectation that it would be nearly exactly the same as before. Yeah, I thought it'd just be full of high energy, full of excitement, but I quickly found out that it would actually be nothing like that. This is because of three reasons. One, my freshman year best friend actually just moved back to Texas because of unforeseen circumstances. Two, I decided to commit fully to one college fellowship group on campus, and I would actually become one of the core leaders, the person who decided pretty much the vision, the agenda, and everything for this fellowship. Yeah, a lot for a sophomore. And reason number three, by the end of this year, I would be dating. But that journey in itself was incredibly complicated. Now, the ultimate effect that this had was that I was spending less time with friends my age and more time with my girlfriend and as a core leader of this fellowship group. It was a lot to deal with. I remember journaling and reading a ton during this time. I just had so much on my mind and I needed to get it all sorted out. Journaling actually saved my mental health. In hindsight, through my reflections, I actually wish I hadn't spent so much time with just my girlfriend and just my college fellowship. I wish that I really balanced it more effectively. So friendships actually mean so much to me. And I sadly did lose a lot of friends that year. Or even just the opportunity to actually grow in these new or continuing friendships from the years past. And this is because I was busy dating and really devoting myself to leadership and being a leader for this group. But that's okay. In the end, that was my choice and I own up to that. I would say that this is the first time in my life that I've realized that you have to live with the experiences that you've been through. And no matter the outcome, you just need to learn from them in order to better shape you and your own future. With my studies and my career, I was starting to stress and become a lot more worried. Everyone else seemed to be getting their careers and post-grad life together. Everyone was getting into their respective majors, getting that internship or work experience. The imposter syndrome definitely began to sink in. At this time, I was still figuring out what part of tech I really wanted to be involved in, or if even tech was for me. I was experimenting with UX and UI design and trying my best to get into various majors across UW. I thought my ever-growing passion in photography and videography would actually help, but sadly just had no luck throughout the year. Speaking of photography, I actually bought my first full-frame camera that year. This was a big step, and it really helped elevate my photography, and I got increasingly better at both taking photos but also editing. I took so many photos that year, and it was a blast. Photography was one of the biggest outlets that was actually keeping me sane through it all, and it helped me move forward regardless of the continuous uncertainty that was weighing ahead. With my girlfriend at the time, that was a crazy journey. Let's call her the letter A for now. We had a very rough gray area year, but through it all, we made it work. Now this summer, after sophomore year, I actually decided to stay down in Tacoma. This is because I really just needed a break from school. Honestly though, the only things that I remember from this summer was that I would drive all the way from my hometown in Tacoma, Washington, all the way to Redmond, Washington. I would do this to see A around like 3 to 4 times a week because I wanted to spend time with her. So in total, I'll be driving around 8 hours per week. One fun aspect that I remember is that I actually went to Japan this summer. This was an incredible mission trip that I wanted from my church. Yeah, it was just filled with so many incredible memories. But most importantly, I know that we made a great impact on the community there. I also went to San Francisco with some friends and also Austin, Texas with my family. But honestly, if I wasn't traveling, I was probably spending all my time with A. It was a fun summer, but it definitely didn't end in the way that I would have expected it to. If I had to sum it up in a few words, it would be falling in love and learning responsibility. Junior year didn't start off on the brightest note. Pretty much it started off with a breakup. Not to get into it too much, but it just didn't work out. I was left heartbroken and honestly in shambles. I didn't want to admit it to my friends and I would constantly tell them that I was fine. But in reality, it was actually a really tough breakup. Like I spent a year pursuing and falling for this girl. One thing about a breakup is that you gain so much information and knowledge, you just don't know what to do with it all afterwards. Because of that though, I needed a distraction. So I dove into leadership, mentorship, and really taking ownership of the people that I was with at my college fellowship. Honestly, it sort of became like my child. I was leading small groups, leading times of musical worship, meeting the new freshmen, and just so many more just little bits of incredible moments that happened along the way. At the same time, I was actually reconnecting with old high school friends and old university friends my age. Creatively, I was shooting some of the best photography. I was learning, I was exploring, and I was growing. Ultimately, life was good. Like really, really good. And I felt the momentum of my life starting to shift towards positivity, creativity, and friendships. But then,
this, Americans sick with the coronavirus.
Tonight, U.S. cases of coronavirus more than doubling
to more than 342,000.
That COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
More confirmed coronavirus cases tonight in Washington state.
Saturday, the first death in the United States in Kirkland due to the coronavirus.
I was living in the state where the pandemic really began to grow. It happened in Kirkland, Washington, in one of the nursing home centers, which is literally 20 minutes away from the UW campus. Things got crazy, and they got crazy really fast. We were all recommended to go back home where it was safe. It was a pretty tough transition. Online school was a tricky thing to transition to. Because of this though, as almost all clubs did, our fellowship actually had to shift more to online content. This is where I actually learned how to craft and create videos again. This is where that spark and curiosity for video started to really grow again. When my career, honestly, I was starting to really get worried. I didn't really know where I fit in this wild, wild west of tech. I felt like it was UX design for so long, but I just kept getting rejected one after the other by almost every single major on campus. I actually got really scared one day because I got this email from UW where they said I couldn't take any more classes, get any more credits until I declared a major. And I had to keep getting extensions actually for multiple months until I got a major. So they were really forcing their hand on me, metaphorically, and I had to be in a major or I couldn't continue my studies and I would most likely need to transfer. But then it finally happened. I luckily got into the communications major at UW Seattle during spring of 2020. I felt so relieved because I could actually stay at the university that I spent so many of my years at. Now, I was content with communications, but there's actually no clear career direction. Most of the things that I would want to do would actually require more self-study, and I wasn't really wanting that. So I decided to take some more information school classes from the UW in the summer. This was so I could actually just get some more exposure to the informatics major, but one key part about this was that I was actually taking this database management and SQL class. For those who don't know what SQL is, it's a coding language that's able to go through millions to billions of rows of data. It is the most popular and is the most necessary analytics language. I would actually enjoy coding in SQL. It's the first time that a coding language actually clicked well with me. And I started to think, is the analytics world actually for me? I started to dive deeper and I would find out that I would actually really enjoy it. Now, it combined a lot of my creative sides with data visualizations, but also my technical sides with SQL and coding. It was a really cool and unique experience. I finally found an area or field that I actually loved and enjoyed. If I were to sum up junior year in a few words, it would be mentorship, renewing friendships, and getting my career-ish together. Now on to my fourth year. This was an achievement-filled year. I just got a teaching assistant position for the same database management SQL class that I took in the summer. And at the same time, I got into informatics fall 2020. I really got in through just helping my friends who were reading my essay, but also just a professor on campus who was also helping me. Special shout out to Greg. Hey, you're a real one. Now, getting into info was huge for me. I finally found my home at UW Seattle. It finally felt that like I not only belonged at UW, but also I belonged in the tech industry. Fun fact, I actually applied 11 different times across various different majors and actually only got accepted twice. 2 out of 11 times. For my college fellowship, this would be my third and final year serving here. I was still high up in leadership, making big level designs and creating content on a nearly weekly basis. With my career, I was actually struggling to find internships all throughout this year. I was applying like a madman though, hoping to just get that one chance. I would actually interview at big, tech companies, but it would sadly not work out. And I actually lost a lot of hope in that. Luckily, luckily, I checked my spam email. I actually found an email from Intel. Yeah, like the company, like at the time at least, they built every single CPU in almost every modern day PC or laptop. It was for a data engineering intern position and I got it. Intel was amazing. It was awesome. I would actually end up staying there throughout till the end of the year. Speaking of next quarter, you might be thinking, Tim, you're a fourth year. You should be graduating, right? Yeah, no. I would find out rather early in the year that I would actually need to do a capstone and a few other courses way after I got into the major. And they only offered it both in winter and spring quarters. Yeah, so because of capstone, I was forced to take a fifth year at UW. I was actually happy about it though, because it gave me an opportunity to really take my time with my career. In terms of my friendships, I spent a lot of time with friends younger than me. I did spend more time with people my age later in the year, and it honestly made me really sad though. I would actually discover later in my fifth year all the effects that both COVID and just the past 4 years would actually have on me. If I were to sum up my fourth year in just a few words though, it would be continual leadership, ownership, and growth in my career. All right, fifth year gang. My fifth year. I was so excited for this year. I was just so hopeful. I was just stoked to have my last year at UW. I finished my time at my college fellowship. I was finally in my major. I had the internship and I was just ready to enjoy college and have fun. I would soon find out though that this was actually the toughest year out of all 5 years for me. With my friendship, it was weird, but all of my friends my age were gone. I remember one specific moment on my first day back on campus. I was hoping to see one of my closest friends, but I walked on campus and I just soon quickly realized, shoot, they're graduated. They're not here anymore. Yeah, this really hit me hard because I felt like through sophomore year to June, like my fourth year, I felt like I was alone, and this made me feel more alone. I also started off just by continuing my internship in fall of 2021, but I was also being a teaching assistant again for the advanced database management SQL class. I was fine with this, but I was honestly overworking myself. Like if I wasn't doing classwork, I was grading. If I wasn't grading, then I was doing internship work. And by the end of fall quarter, I would be both lonely and pretty burnt out actually. Now because of this, I decided not to do either afterwards. I stopped my internship with Intel to take a break, and I stopped TAing afterwards too. Then one of the biggest moments in my life so far happened. Yeah, my grandpa passed away. This was really tough for me. It was my first time in my life experiencing loss, and I didn't really know how to feel. Family means so much to me, so to have just a family member be gone, it hurt in ways that words really just can't explain. I just remember having so many emotions happening all at once. Now, honestly, by no means were we very close, but because of this, I was left feeling like, damn, I really should have visited him more often. Or just like, I wish I learned Korean so that I could have actually talked to him. He had actually just turned 90 years old the August before. And it just happened. Like right after fall quarter, I remember just feeling so distraught and just heartbroken. Experiences like this really change you and shift your perspective on life and the value that life has. So after this, I made a pretty poor decision, but I ended up taking an internship with Costco IT. This was in hopes to keep me distracted, but honestly, I probably shouldn't have taken it, and I should have just rested and mourned through it. Because the weight of both my grandpa passing and honestly being both overworked and burnt out from both my previous internship and now by Costco IT was just too much. So I made the single-handedly best decision that I know I could have done, and I decided to go to therapy. I just really needed it. I felt so alone and by myself, and I just needed some help guiding me through my own brain and my own thoughts. One of the most critical things I learned was actually the concept of hurt cycles. I just had so much pain built up, and I didn't deal with it. The constant hurt and pain cycle just finally hit me. I couldn't sleep well because of this, and this led to even less productivity and motivation in both my internship and in my schoolwork. My Costco IT internship finished in April of 2022, and I literally said, fuck it, I'm getting out of here. I booked 3 trips that month. 1 to LA, 1 to SF, and 1 to New York City.
Everybody bubble guys! Bubble guys! Yo, that's always busting fire.
She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds.
I didn't know Coco squeeze.
Luckily, my last quarter at UW would be one of the calmest ones I would have. These trips were exactly what I needed, an escape. To feel like I had some sort of control in my life again. It felt amazing, and it was amazing. When I was in LA, I was actually watching a group of content creators. They're a group called Your Mom's House. You might have heard of them, but I just remember their storytelling and their videos just both made me laugh and just feel great emotions. But most importantly, it actually inspired me to make videos again. I remember it was a passion of mine all of my life. I was that kid who would have an iPad, record videos on iPad, and make videos on iMovie. And I wanted to have that passion yet again. With a combination of both traveling, going to therapy, and creating videos, I was really starting to feel my soul heal again. I would love to say as graduation approached, I felt incredible and like 10,000% of what I was before, but no. Honestly, I'm still pretty tired most days, and I'm still trying to find motivation to create each and every day. But in all honesty, yeah, if I were to sum up this past year of my 5th year, it would genuinely just be healing from past traumas. Now, at the end of the day, what does graduating from UW Seattle actually mean to me? It's coming out of it and knowing and being aware of the world more. It's understanding what the atrocities of this world are and what the people in it are doing. It's understanding what heartbreak feels like, what it means to lose someone that you love so dearly, what it feels like to be constantly rejected and pushed down in your career. Most importantly, it's knowing that there will always be hope, a light at the end of the tunnel, a goal and a means to the end. A mind that is constantly curious and wanting to learn and to empathize with others, and a mindset that just wants to create more. Ultimately, it just means moving forward in life, even if you don't feel ready. Honestly, I'm not ready to adult, but what I am ready for is for my redemption arc to finally begin. Life can only go up from here, and I can't wait to see what's ahead in the next chapters of my life.